the reasons why you might have moved from one to the other?
I suppose more reason of changing different jobs was more sort of, I suppose, personal, moving location. When I first started and I'd been there a while, I'm like, at Holden, this is a job for life. I'm like, it was a great place to work.
Yep.
Great attitude. The company was really good, looked after their people.
Yep.
That was in Holden when it's a heyday, and obviously everyone knows what happened slowly from like the mid 2000s. From there, sort of everything slowly went pear shaped. So even if I had stayed there, I would have not, it would have, seen its demise, which is a shame because I mean, I've worked in a few, as you can know, I've worked in a few different places since, and I didn't realise how fortunate I was to be given learn with some really good tradespeople, learn off some really good people, skills that some other people haven't been, I suppose, haven't been shown or haven't had the opportunity to learn. More of as the years have gone on, it's a shame that the automotive industry, especially here in Melbourne, has sort of gone, because it was a really good training ground for Sparkies,
And I didn't know what I was going to do. And he said, "No, you're going to be a Sparky." I said, "I think I might want to be a chippy like you." And he said, "No, you're going to be a Sparky." So that's what led me straight into my apprenticeship after school. I started doing domestic electrical for 2.5 years during my apprenticeship. Sorry about the noise in the background.
That's okay, man. I just thought it was the baked beans, but obviously.
Yeah. I'm actually on site now. I'm in the back of my van.
Fair enough.
This is what, I've got an office in the back of my van. So
good, I mean.
And then domestic sort of got to me a little bit. It was a really, really good lesson. And I know that's a lot of where our industry is in the domestic trade. So, but I really wanted to get into an industrial atmosphere and in that sort of side of electrical. So I moved on to a bit of commercial shop fitting. That wasn't for me. Pushed to try and get into industrial, and eventually got into a contractor that works with the water industry. So not directly doing maintenance, but quite large projects. We were out all sorts of different ways of Victoria, sometimes New South Wales, lots of travel, but really interesting and engaging work. So from there is how I sort of moved into more industrial things, and then eventually came to where I am today.
Okay. And what are the sort of things that you enjoy about the industrial space that you're in?
It's certainly more engaging. There's a lot more that you need to know, and not more that you need to learn. You're constantly using your brain to sort of work things out. I certainly got to the point in domestic where I felt like I was on autopilot, and I know there's also different places, different things that you can do within domestic, of course, but certainly, just bashing through houses every day, it just wasn't for me. So yeah, I really like and particularly moving into the instrumentation side of it. Lots of different physics. There's lots of just so many different things to do, which is what I like about.
Good day, James. How's it going?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. So perhaps just as a quick introduction to James for our listeners today. James is an electrician at one of the largest or leading integrated service providers across Australia and New Zealand. James started his apprenticeship back in 2014, was it, James? Or
Yeah. Okay. I started an electronics apprenticeship doing marine electrical, and then moved into a normal basic electrical apprenticeship after that.
Okay. So given that brief background that you've given me, what prompted you to get into the electrical field in the first place?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I mean, I was making golf clubs in a factory, believe it or not, and
cute.
That journey was coming to an end there, and I was looking at job advertisements, and I saw a job advertisement for a marine electrician, and I thought I'd apply, and went and did the interview, and cleaned out the boss's van when I in my interview. So, and he put me on, and the rest is history, really. I sort of stayed on with him for 1.5 years, and after that, he couldn't afford to keep me on anymore, and I moved on into a general electrical apprenticeship. Did a bit of house bashing for a year and a half, and then moved on to smaller commercial jobs, and then sort of moved into the larger tier 1 construction jobs. And then just recently, in the last 2 years, I've started doing industrial / commercial maintenance. And yeah, loving